Aloha, I'm Felicia Miller Johnson, and I conduct work life video interviews with career professionals that become an all intuitive conversation. Aloha, and welcome to another episode of All Intuitive Conversation. I'm Felicia Miller Johnson, and I encourage individuals to live smart and ascend to new levels of success in their work and life. Today, I have the pleasure of connecting with Valerie for the first time. So let's add her to the screen. Aloha, Valerie.
Aloha.
How are you?
I'm doing great. I'm excited to be here today.
Well, I'm excited to connect with you. So you and I have never met before. So this is our first time chatting. And so I'm just going to kind of, get to know you a little bit because it's interesting. What's already standing out is your wall is completely blank. And I don't know anything about you because we've never connected before. So I look forward to adding some color to this.
Okay.
So tell me, where are you in the world?
Well, I'm in Texas. You're asking my location?
Yes.
Yes, I'm north of Houston. I'm in Texas.
Oh, north. What part of Texas? North, the city.
It's the Woodlands.
The Woodlands. Okay. All right. So I used to live in Texas, Fort Hood, Texas.
Okay.
So it's about, what was that drive? About an hour from Austin.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was about an hour maybe because it was like a little swervy backwoods row with us.
Beautiful there.
Yes. So we have Andrew. Aloha, Andrew. Welcome. I don't know if you know him. I do not know Andrew, but thank you so much for joining us today, Andrew. So Texas. So are you born and raised in Texas?
I was born in Michigan, and I've lived in Texas, in this town, actually. I think I was around 7 years old when we moved here.
Wow. Okay. So that's like a long time. So what do you enjoy living about in Texas?
Well, my whole family's here. So I would like to branch out at some point, or even if I don't get to move from here, start traveling, because I do like, going places and new culture and new people and always learning and expanding, my view of the world. So I love that kind of stuff. But all my kids are here. I have 4 kids and 2 granddaughters. So it'd be hard. And my mom's here, my brother's here. It'd be hard to just get up and leave.
Oh, I got that. Well, it's interesting because the first one is this woman here that's in all green. And it's 4. And so when you were talking about the 4 kids, it's like you have a gold coin for each one of them. So what's kept you from traveling up to this point? I mean, like, so I understand the moving, but what's kept you from, just traveling already?
Well, I divorced 8 years ago. And when I divorced, I had always been a stay-at-home mom. So I at 44 years old, never had a career in education per se or worked because I was always stay-at-home mom. And so when I left, I had to just, my goal at that time was in 6 months, I'm going to be remarried and be with someone. But that wasn't my right path because I had a lot of healing to do. So over the last 8 years, I've really healed. I have my own business and personal training, but I'm trying to, I love doing that, but I'm moving over. I wrote a book. I'm moving over into life coaching and public speaking. I'm on podcasts all over the world, knowing that I'm planting seeds places so that, I don't know where, because I just show up for myself every day. So by showing up for myself every day in the best possible way, I know opportunity.
Well, I love that because when you say you got divorced, so that kind of resonates. We were talking about the 4 coins going back to the lady. I can imagine initially, because it says on here, managing resources wisely. So as a single parent for a while, I'm sure that is something you definitely had to,
oh yeah,
to do, like, okay, pinching the pennies and making sure that where the money is going, you just didn't hand over your money just very easily. But then it was interesting too, because what came out here was the 2 of Cups, and it's this whole couple and this whole family. And when you were saying you had hoped to be remarried in 6 months, from your divorce, because it says on here, falling in love or the resurgence of a romantic relationship, forgiveness and the ending of challenges, exchanging gifts. Don't give up on people you love. And it's like you already had started with that energy of not going anywhere, staying close to home and your family, having not moved. So the next question is coming through. Let's imagine if you could move. Like I said, despite the family, if you were still for whatever, like if everybody was to come with you or whatever the case may be, where would you go?
I thought about that. I absolutely light up being at the beach. I'm thinking Miami. I'm thinking West Palm Beach. Like I can't even explain it. You get me to a beach with pretty water, and it's like I am a new spirit. I'm a new person.
Yes.
So say if I could pick anywhere, it'd probably be somewhere like that.
Well, the next card that came out here was talking about imagine where you can go in your whole crown chakra. And then the next one is talk about finances. So again, money, finances seems to be running
yes
throughout your thing
yes.
here. So okay, so a beach person. When's the last time you've been to the beach?
I actually went last year, I think once or twice. It was very close in that time frame. We went to Mexico, to Cancun. I went with both the times. One was just me and my daughter, and one with me and two of my other kids and my son's family. So yeah.
Awesome. Okay, so that's good that you're at least going and traveling
Mm-hmm.
and visiting those places versus not even going at all to the beach. So that's very inspiring. So you said that you used to work in the training kind of field and you transition into life coaching,
Right. I'm
right?
still a personal trainer.
Yes.
And because when I divorced, that was something I had a passion for and I loved it. So it's just, and I do bodybuilding competitions. That was my therapy during the time frame. But I really feel my calling is, public speaking, writing books, inspiring women to unleash their authentic self, or inner superhero, I call it. So that's my passion. And I know that's why I'm on this earth. So I know that's where I'm transitioning to, but I still am in life. I'm still personal training because I have to pay the bills. So it's kind of in that transition mode where I give 50% of my time to that and 50% of my time to the other.
Okay, so bodybuilding definitely is dedication, training, eating right, and having commitment to the workout, and then the whole life coaching. Are they separate? Are you seeing them as two separate entities? Because
Well,
what are you coaching about? Like, what would you like to coach and inspire
I
people?
do think it's all together because my last name is Maksym. So my platform name is Maximizing Life.
Uh-huh.
When I say maximizing life, that's every area of life. So it's physical, it's emotional, it's relationships, it's spiritual, it's all the areas to be mindful, to continually every day to try to do something to maximize over time how we grow in all areas. So it does kind of all go together. Yes.
Okay, because that's just kind of what came through because you got two cards. And so,
Mhm.
of course, I think it's interesting that uplifting, power training, lifting weights kind of thing. And then also um, enlightening. And here's what it says. The themes are arise and cheerful. Trigger statement says there has to be more than this. I am powerless. And so connecting that with the whole bodybuilding, that's all about power. That's what usually people kind of think about power, being strong and all that. So that's the trigger. But the true statements for both of those says, I create my worlds and I'm excited to see what the future brings. You are ready for a higher level of awareness and transformation. The other one says, the future is bright. Enjoy knowing that your optimism today fuels your amazing tomorrow. So that's what's coming through. What are the challenges you think in your mind that's keeping you from excelling even more in your coaching part of your business?
My challenge is probably just trying to get more focused on exactly what I offer and what I bring in my coaching packages, because sometimes I feel like it can be a lot because I do have a lot, but I feel like I need to maybe um, even hone it down more, even target it down more to a more of a specific, if I was to say more of a specific topic, that, and then also, you know, fear, I'm not going to lie, fear always is a thing that, you know, wants to hold you back, because it's like, I've had to really work through it, and I feel like I've gotten closer to working through it.
Release.
Release, yes. Yes, I
Like,
have.
yeah, feeling trapped with that. What's interesting, because one of the things I do is connect. Valerie, do you know the meaning of your name?
Strong.
Yeah. Strong and healthy. Which is interesting that that's the field that you work in. Again, you are not powerless. You are healthy and you are strong. So it's who you are,
Right.
Symbolically, right? Is you're living out your namesake. So tell me a little bit more about like your offerings. Like you were saying, like what are you offering now? If I was to come to you and I'd say, Valerie, tell me about your coaching, what would you say?
So my coaching, it stems back to finding your authentic self, which for my journey began with finding that self-love, because I lived 44 years, didn't even understand that there was a concept of self-love. It just never even crossed my mind that, and in fact, I used to think self-love was just a bad name. Like, I don't know. I just had a very incongruent, like, feeling when someone would say that word, you know, when I first heard about it, and I
Mm-hmm.
didn't know the resistance of it. So when I coach people, I feel like everything goes back. I don't really care what it is, what I've experienced, back to the relationship you have with yourself. Because when that relationship is strong, and I mean, I'm talking strong, like if you're building a building or a house and that foundation is strong, then
Mm-hmm.
everything else that you extend from that is going to be healthier and stronger. So learning that, you know, you might be having problems in relationships, finances, any other things, but a lot of times it goes back to the relationship we have with ourselves, our beliefs that we think, like, you know, things that are stopping us from the next level is our beliefs, our belief system. And so helping people figure out why they're stuck, what's limiting you in going forward. I know it limits me. We all have things that limit us, and to help people to see and just allow that beautiful, authentic superhero that lives within all of us to shine,
Mm-hmm.
come out, and to be. Because when I started doing that recently, it's like, oh my goodness, like opportunities, friendships, relationships, just everything just starts appearing. And I'm like, wow, okay, I know I'm on my right path. I'm showing up for myself every day. Do I
Right.
know how everything's going to play out? No, but I know it's going to be good. I have a saying that the rest of my life will be the best years of my life. I say that every day. So I know it's just going to keep getting better and better, but I don't really know.
So what was the trigger though for you when you found that fine tuning of saying this is where the self love is? What was it? What was that moment?
You know, there was a moment that I found that because I was driving in my car and I
Mm-hmm.
was like feeling this feeling of almost like euphoric, like unconditionally loved and peace and joy, and not really wanting anything or lacking of anything, even though even my financial resources aren't all there, but just having that, like, wow, on that feeling. And I was like, you know what, my whole life I looked for that feeling to come from a man, and I found it from myself. And I was like, oh my goodness, light bulb moment, ding ding ding. Like, I feel like everybody needs to know that.
Finances coming by yourself under your umbrella. Like I was saying, the money is coming through that. Okay, so the question becomes there. Emmanuel's fine tuning it even more because when you say your authentic self and you're finding all those things, like there is a lot of potentially people that can say that
Right.
finding your authentic self. But why should I choose Valerie as my coach to help me with that? What's unique about you?
What's very unique about me is I have an incredible ability to listen
Yes.
and to intuitively just kind of know the right questions to ask after I've allowed you to speak. And I don't give my opinions, I just give the next question. So I really listen to feel what the next question would be in the moment. And I never cookie cutter my coaching sessions. I have framework, but nobody's the same. Like, I literally, you're as individual as your DNA, and that's how I treat our sessions.
Okay. So unique, non-cookie cutter. Um, the avatar, the woman. Well, I'm assuming, is it a woman? Um, that you see as your ideal client. Describe her right now.
The woman I see as my ideal client is that woman who, in the area that I live in, has things, has a life, has a husband, has children, is usually a stay-at-home mom, and lives a very, very great life. And
Mm-hmm.
and at some point in her life, whether her kids get older and she comes to a place that she realizes she lost herself because she lived her life through her kids, and now that her kids are going off to college or whatever, and a lot of times I see people in this time frame also divorcing because they've grown so far apart from their husband. And so I find that, well, that's my ideal person to, that I feel like, because I was there and I understand that, and I can just that's just my heart, to help women like that to realize that you are more than, you are so much more. And we just got to take some time to dig in and find that authentic self, find that passion that find your purpose, find your passions.
Yes. So the phrase she may be saying is trigger, I feel conflicted.
Mm-hmm.
And so the theme around that talks about align. And it says the centering, helping
Right.
them to find their center. And it says, true statement, I am true to my highest self. Your focus needs to turn within to reflect on stories that are not true for you. Love is the way through. So it's like she's probably feeling that conflict, that struggle, because it ties back to what you said about the love that you have for yourself, the self love, and
Mm-hmm.
that target person that you're probably looking for is not probably aware of that. And it's interesting too because I don't know if you know about these perceptions per se, that when you have like bodybuilders, like they have this whole high sense of self-love, right? Because they're like working on their bodies, they're looking in their mirror and, shaping like, oh, I got to work on this, but I love myself. It's almost like sometimes they think like, are they over self-love so much with their bodies it becomes ego. So it was interesting that you're working in that field and that you have an awareness of embracing your body and loving yourself and how that kind of helped you go through the struggle of the divorce. So it's almost like I said, they're connected and similar to that. And so the encouraging word that's coming through for you is that she may also be interested in working out. She's going to the gym. She's
Mm-hmm.
been struggling, maybe with her weight or something like that. So that may be an area where you say where you're niching down, fine tuning of where she may be. Um, like that niche, like, hey, self love, then you're also still interested in body improvement and that kind of thing. And that is the word that I'm kind of getting that may be encouraging you that where is she? Where do I find her? She may be in the gym.
Right. Okay.
Um, but it's not just, as you say, they're not separate. And that's why I was asking before, do you see them separate? Because sometimes women just say, I'm just here to develop my body and change it.
Right.
Then you got another woman observer that's saying, I just need life coaching to help me get my life back together.
Right. Right.
Your special flint is that you have both. Yeah, we can train your physical body, but hey, let's also work on that inner life coaching as well and encouraging them. So they're kind of both in the same. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. My clients that I've personal trained for years, they're like, "You've been our life coach for the last so many years." Like, it's just natural for me. So in the beginning, it was really hard for me to charge for life coaching because it's just who I am. It's just part of
That
who I am.
and see, I'm getting a whole chill, and that's where you lead more into it when it's so free and so natural that you didn't even realize, like, oh, am I even doing that?
Right.
That's where it's more of that because you were already doing the coaching piece of
Right.
that. Now it's like, okay, now how do I just like when you start thinking, okay, well, coaching business, and especially when they start using the terminology like target market and where is it,
Right.
you're already connected with her. Looking at the woman that you're already coaching, the ones that have already told you, you're already doing the life coaching kind of thing. It's just another element of the business. Now you're just owning it versus just taking it for granted. Like it was just something that I was doing. So I would say stay encouraged in that same vein, because that's just basically confirmation. Like, you've already been doing it. It's just you're making it quote unquote more official, because it's very similar to the messages kind of come through visually, is like hairdressers. You know, like they go in, yeah, I'm getting my hair done, but usually you're telling your hairdresser all about, girl, this is what's going on in my life, and all of those different things. So as I was tapping with the energy connecting, was like, okay, I was saying, what is the encouraging word for Valerie? And look what came out here is Lithia. Have you ever heard of her before? This
I have,
goddess?
I haven't. I like that name though.
Yeah. So it says, the first woman. I am the voice of my body and soul, which is what we just said. You're helping women with their body and their soul. I choose the life that I desire to live. So let's find out a little bit more about her and this goddess. Let me, because there are 142. Okay. So this is what it says. Lilith embodies our sovereignty to declare our desires and do what we must be done in order to live them out. According to Jewish folklore, Lithia was Adam's first wife. She was created from the same earth as Adam. So when he expected her to be subservient to him, she refused. Okay, so this is already kind of aligning with you were talking about the women that were married but maybe divorced, kind of this whole separation. I think this is where this is going. Lithia explained to Adam that they were equal, made by God. So when Adam insisted again on her submission, Lithia uttered the divine names and flew away. Divorce, separation. Supposedly, Adam sent angels after her to force her to return, but she was with the archangel Samuel, and she desired to remain with him. You even talked about the next relationship you would have in like 6 months. Ancient Jewish midrash, or retellings of the biblical stories, portray Lithia as a demon, but contemporary feminist theologians like Judith Plaskow have incorporated women's experiences and women's voices in the traditional text with their own midrash. Plaskow transformed the fearsome, vilified Lithia into a wise, empowered woman. Lithith embodies the emotional and spiritual aspects of our unconscious or unrealized desires, sensuality, and unbridled sexuality. She owns her body and soul completely. For many women, Lithith is an icon of freedom. Lithith is the first woman. She is the woman who refused to be dominated or defined by anyone or anything outside of her. When your soul selects this card, Litha says, what would happen if you left everything behind? Which is kind of like the little question I was asking, like, where would you move to if not worried about your family or anything like that? She wonders what prevents her from getting to experience all that you desire. All that you desire, Valerie.
Yeah.
Is it you? Is it an idea or someone you have to be? Is it society's definition of what it means to be a woman? Litha asks the questions that sometimes never fully reach the light of consciousness. Litha is unclaimed. She is the ruler of her body and soul, and she reminds us that we are too. And not only that, we have a sacred obligation to be the body's fierce protector. If I were entirely equal to everyone else, to every man and every angel like Samuel, what would I choose for my life? If I see myself as worthy as the first woman ever created by the divine, what more would I ask for? Am I living the life I desire? Am I actually fulfilled sexually in my current relationships? Are there aspects of my sexuality I haven't been able to face and voice? Litha refuses to settle. She answered all the questions within her and took action on the truth she uncovered. Lydia demanded that she met with what she really desired, and she's here to demand that we all do the same.
That's good.
So she's kind of connecting with you and arriving with you, the body, the soul, what can be leading you for your business. So I'm kind of encouraging you to maybe do some more research on her. That she's a goddess that's is showing up as, yeah, you can have a man relationship, but having that on terms, but not only working on your body and your soul, and then that will connect also with the whole finances and the piece. But continue to be healthy, strong, and figure out what you're doing, and so that'll help you to release the conflicted feelings that you have.
Yes, that's good.
There.
That's good.
Well,
I'm,
Valerie,
I'm pushing
thank
out the. I do actually. I haven't dated in 3.5 years, and I do have a date tonight. So I am, like you're saying, the things that you want. I'm finally at a place that I'm just, and I know what I want, so I'm not settling. So I know, and I'm not always going
girl,
to
let
be.
me find out. Is his name Samuel? The last name be Samuel. Well, look, as you go on that date, it's no accident that we're talking today and you're having your first date tonight after 3.5 years. But go
Right,
there, empowered, be yourself, have fun, and know the expectations that you have for that gentleman that's going to come alongside you um,
right.
in your new journey. So I hope you have a great night tonight.
So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much for being on All Intuitive Conversation. So those individuals like, yes, I want to be lifted by part of your tribe, connecting with Valerie. How can people reach you?
So the easiest way to reach me is Maximizing Life. So that's my last name's Maksym. So maximizinglife.com. That is my main website. So they can reach me through there. If, on Instagram and Facebook, that's my handle, Maximizing Life.
Awesome. Well, thank you. Maximizing life. I do hope you are also encouraged to live smart and ascend to new levels of success in your work and your life. For those that are watching, if you would like to be a guest on All Intuitive Conversation, just visit the website, allintuitiveconversation.com. And until we meet again, this has been an All Intuitive Conversation.